Well, Tennessee House and Senate Republicans remain far apart when it comes to expanding school vouchers across the state. Leadership has said many times they're going to have conversations. But with the General Assembly inching toward the close of session, when is that going to happen? State Capitol reporter Chris O'Brien asked that question to leadership.
Lawmakers are expecting session to wrap up by the end of April at the very latest. But there's a large elephant in the room as the House and the Senate remain miles apart on their proposed education freedom voucher legislation to send public tax dollars to private school families. And both sides are staunch that their version is the better version.
We're willing to sit down and have those conversations with them and try to work it out. It's really up to them on if they're willing to have any conversations about our version or not, and then we'll see what happens.
Well, we've heard we're willing to sit down for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but when is that actually going to happen?
Well, we've sat down, and what we get back is they don't like the House version.
The outlook was rosier in the Senate.
We'll have discussions with the House, and whether it be in a conference committee or leadership talking to the House leadership, and we'll eventually, I think, find a path forward.
Governor Bill Lee has largely remained out of the public eye while the two sides duke it out. But lawmakers say there is more behind closed doors.
It doesn't mean that he's not engaged in not having conversation. He has allowed the legislature to work through sometimes the painful part of putting a piece of legislation together, and he acknowledges that.
When it comes to the actual legislation, though, Senate leadership indicated they felt the governor was more comfortable with their version.
I don't want to speak for him, but I think he favors what had happened in the Senate, which is closest to what he proposed.
The House's version includes hundreds of millions of dollars for public schools, including more money to cover teacher insurance and a reduction in testing. Both aspects they say Senate Republicans are digging their heels in on.
On our side, their problems is they don't think that we have too many tests in the classroom. And so there's a part of them that feel like reducing testing and increasing instruction time is not the right direction.
As the legislative Cold War drags on, the bill hangs in the balance. In Nashville, Chris O'Brien.
Now, the bill is set to go through finance committees in both the House and the Senate next week. Multiple lawmakers have told Chris to keep an eye on the House Finance Subcommittee as there are many concerns about the cost of the bill.